Hello, welcome to lesson 1, the biggest single secret to clear nasal breathing. First of all, some background about me. I was a severe asthmatic with the first 30 years of my life, with blocked nose, allergies, sneezing, snoring and low endurance, all the things that come with not knowing how breathing should work. I'm also a scientist. I got a couple of degrees, a researcher. Back in 1997 I wrote a book called How to Grow Out of Asthma as Quickly as Possible, which has sold particularly well, based on the Buteyko method, and I've been running workshops for those since that time. The other thing you need to know about me is that my nose is clear all the time because I know how to change it with my breathing, and by the end of this demonstration you'll know how to do that too. Good. Okay. One of the first lessons is that, okay, I'm talking about asthma before. What's got to do with the blocked nose? The similarity is that the tissue that lines our noses is made of smooth muscle, just like the smooth muscle that lines the airways of the pipes that lead down into our lungs. The difference being that, and you may be both an asthmatic with a blocked nose, the key thing is the process is the same, the science is the same, and the treatment and training is essentially the same. Smooth muscle is interesting because it does certain things, and one of those things that it does, which is very cool and very powerful, is that when the carbon dioxide, the local carbon dioxide in our bodies in a certain area, gets too low, it swells up. So for example, when the level of carbon dioxide in and around your nasal area gets too low, the smooth muscle there will swell up and will produce more mucus, which is what it's designed to do, and it's supposed to happen. It's not an illness. Repeat that. The lower carbon dioxide in the area makes the smooth muscle swell up. If the smooth muscle in our noses swells, what will that do to your nose? It will make it more blocked. Pretty obvious. The less the CO2 available in the local area, the more blocked it becomes. Alright, so that's a big call. How do we how does that help? First of all, a bit about CO2. How do we lose to CO2 so it goes too low? Well, the key point is that in the air around us there's 0.03% more or less, even with the greenhouse, which is pretty close to zero. There's almost no carbon dioxide in the air. Now what I'm saying is, if there's no carbon dioxide in your nose, your smooth muscle will swell up. So where does it come from? It comes from us being alive and producing carbon dioxide. So one of the tuning things we need for our breathing is that we don't release all of the carbon dioxide we produce, we keep in the right amount. The way that we lose carbon dioxide is we breathe out more than we make. Easy. When we increase the carbon dioxide around smooth muscle, does it shrink back to normal size? And the answer to that is yes. How do we increase our carbon dioxide levels? We now, well, we'll do it in a demonstration shortly, we breathe out less than we make. So we keep some of the carbon dioxide in that we make. What does that feel like? That's a good question. It feels like we're suffocating, in inverted commas. Are we actually suffocating? No, it just feels that way because we're used to having lower CO2, and when they go up higher, closer to normal, it feels like too much, even though it's much less than normal in most instances. Okay, let's tidy up. Okay, biggest secret. How can you demonstrate that it will work to reduce the blocking of my nose, is a question you might ask. Let's have a look. Let's do a little test. Okay, now for a demonstration, first of all we'll read through it, then you can stop this this video and do the demonstration yourself and see what sort of results you get. So first we're just going to read through. The first thing is we measure where we are. We take note of how blocked each nostril is, which means you close off one with a finger in each side and breathe in through the other, and give a score out of 10 for blocked. Where 10 out of 10 is completely blocked, 1 out of 10 is only a little bit blocked. Make the score so then you can compare what happens after. Now let's trap in some CO2. Listen to the instructions, then do it. Don't do it while we're talking here. You can stop and do it after. You breathe in normally, just a normal breath. You breathe in a little, then a little bit out, keeping your mouth closed. Pinch both nostrils with your forefinger and thumb, like you hold your breath. This means that all the carbon dioxide you make will be trapped in, which is the whole point. Hold your breath for almost as long as you can. If you wish, you can stand up and walk around while holding your breath so you can go a little bit longer. Now all we're doing is trapping in some carbon dioxide for the purpose of demonstration, because that carbon dioxide will make the smooth muscle become less swollen. Now this is a key point, the most important point. When you let go, breathe just enough air to stay alive. You've got to suffocate yourself. Your goal is to keep the carbon dioxide in the area so you can see what it does to the smooth muscle. This means being totally, utterly still, breathing like there's a very bad smell in the air, for example. If you've got a dog, you know what I mean. It's like, don't breathe. So, suffocate. Do this for a minute or so. Now, while you're doing that, notice if your nostrils are more or less blocked. Which is block off one and breathe through it, block off the other and breathe through it. Compare them to your original score. Absolutely do not pant or breathe through your mouth or have a big heavy breathing session. Just breathe gently, calmly, and be very still. If your nose is better but not totally perfect, you can repeat this if you wish, or just keep breathing like you're suffocating. If you do this correctly, you will get a difference in your nose every single time. I haven't seen it fail in about 6,000 people. The only issue, if you've got a broken nose from a long time ago, that might take a bit longer to clear up. This is just a first step in a demonstration. Will you suffocate if you don't open your mouth when your nose is blocked? Well, no, you won't, but we'll talk about that in another thing. When you're exercising, same thing. There's a process to learn which will ease you into so that your nose doesn't block up when you stop exercising, which for most people is when it happens. What else do you need to know? Well, there's heaps. What you do need to do is to join the newsletter, watch the other lessons, practice the technique shown in this lesson, get the PDF of this mind map. Okay, now I'm running out of time, so I need to keep this under 10 minutes. Thanks for your attention, and I look forward to seeing your name on my newsletter.